How you doing, everybody? It's me, Max Farrell from TexFXMarkets.com, and today is February 1st, 2021, and we're in our first live week with the Xedan and the Nadex Atomics. And I'm about to show you some things on here, how to trade this week in the NFP. Let's get started. All right, so as the caption says, it's like trading the NFP, the non-farm payroll. If you don't know what that is, there's going to be a little explanation of that here in a few. But the idea concept is that it's heavy news. Now, when we begin to backtest our strategies for our signals, we shoot right through the NFP. We shoot right through the crude oil indices. We shoot through all the news. When we're backtesting our system here, we shoot back through everything, right? We're going back through all kinds of things when we're backtesting. There's no news filter with this backtest, okay? This is our Dex Atomics system that has the backtester on it and date. You could choose medium, high risk, or what have you, choose the time and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a little bit more advanced in here, but I'm going to show you a few things here in a second on how we get down to this process, okay? On what to trade, what not to trade. I once was making a bot, literally a bot, and an AI bot that could tell me when was the best time to trade the Audi USD to get the most benefit, and the Euro JPY, and basically every pair that we could possibly trade. And at first it was like, give me the best time. Give me what is the best time? What is the best time? And then the bot kept on giving me this answer, 0, 0, 0. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't understand. And one of the other programmers working with me on this 0 reply, because it was a yes or no answer. You know, should I trade it at this time? And it would say 0. Well, I didn't realize that 0 meant no. Just at that point, you know, not just not to trade, but just no. And then I tried to say, when is the best time overall to make the most amount of profit? And it also said 0. But again, didn't make sense to me until I started to realize, as the programmer pointed out, it's not telling me that don't trade this time over this time. It's just saying, no, don't trade. What is the best way to be a profitable trader? Is to not trade. And that started to really give me, you know, almost like a war games kind of mentality. You know, you can't win, so don't play, right? So the concept for me is that when in doubt, stay out. Okay, if you're unsure, stay out. The woulda, shoulda, couldas will kind of beat you to death, right? If you go in and you don't win, then you're like, well, you know, it's because of the NFP. You got a great excuse network, right? If you avoid the NFP, more power to you. But I also want to show you why I avoid the NFP. I avoid the gap, and on the NFP during that week on that Wednesday, because the NFP fires on the first Friday of every month. Depending if you have enough time on a Friday, like back in January, it didn't fire on January 1st, of course. It fired on January 8th. Crude oil indices fired on Wednesday the 6th. Okay, so we have data, plenty of data. We go back 3 months worth of data here for our system here if you have a premium account. So you could easily check that. And how do you do that? Well, simply come down and check that time. Now, how did I know that all fired? Is that I go back and I look at the first Friday, which was the 8th right there, right? And that'll give me this time. If you want to know what other ones are, what other dates those fired, you can come down and click on private non-farm payroll. It fires off at 8:30 on Invest. This is all investing.com. And if you click on that, it'll bring you to this particular page. And it'll show you the previous dates, February 5th, you know, if that's where it's the one that's coming up. January 8th, December 4th, November 6th, October 2nd, September 4th. Now, we can't backtest probably just to December 4th. I'm not even know if I can get back that far. But the point being, okay, is that you can at least test a couple of months back to see how well it's gone. And then you'll know, right? 2 or 3 times getting hurt, you may not want to trade the NFP, right? I choose just to stay and not turn the bot on, right? Not turn my Xedan system on, because in my case, I have years experience trading in the NFP, and it never gives you a clear, consistent result. And even though that we avoid the NFP like the plague, there'll be times that you'll win a pair or two, but you'll end up losing more of a pair or two. And the reason why we turn it off personally and manually is because to make that automatic is a lot of extra code work, okay? But if you got the Dex Atomics and you want to check, this is how you can check, you being the average person who's coming here just doing it. You don't have to be a programmer, you don't have to be anything at this point, okay? So when you first fire this up, you're going to isolate the day, okay? And what we're doing is we're looking for a time period between 8 and I'd say 10 a.m., okay? You don't need to know all the other stuff because really, and you can in fact even have this 8 to 9 a.m., right? Because you really, how well does it trade that particular hour during the actual NFP? Or you could trade it for the entire day and you could say 1600, okay? Because that's a Friday. Now, again, I have some other things isolated here, right? I have long and short showing. I have the 8th trading the all day from starting from 8 o'clock. I could do 0700, and that'll kind of give me a little bit better open just in case. Okay, I have it at high risk. If I go to medium risk, not that much of a difference. Low risk. Low risk, I kind of even it out at 50%, but I'm still in the hole about 26 bucks. So I'm trading a 45.55 here. If I drop down and go down to another pair for that same amount of time, I can click Euro JPY. And there's a win. This is not the win that happened. This is where you would have to go back all the way over to January 8th. Okay. Now, if I go to Euro USD during that time, 2 losses. Great Britain Pound USD, 1 loss. USD JPY, 2 losses, 1 win. So not a very good day to be in trading on the NFP, just back on the 8th, right? So let's go back and find another day that it fired. What's the next day down? December 4th. Let's see if we can isolate December 4th here and get that information. So I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to go back through December. I'm going to go to the 4th. I'm going to go 0700. And we're going to come back in here and isolate this one as well. And we're just going to say the 5th, just to kind of keep that whole day in. 8 to 1600 and hit OK. Now, back on the 4th of December, that USD that didn't do so well did OK. Great Britain Pound USD, not so good. Euro USD, 2 wins on that day. Euro JPY, 0 trades happen. And Aussie USD, 3. So you can easily see that you're going to get some weeks, some months that fire off and it's like killing it. And then you're going to get some that are not. The only reason I'm using the master pairs is because the other pairs could fire. No, they won't be able to fire off. Okay, the minor pairs don't fire at that time period. So Aussie USD, 3-0, right? For that time, for that day. From if you look at it, that's the entire day. If I isolate that variable back down to only 9 o'clock, okay, only firing exactly when the NFP fired, there was 1 that fired. Euro JPY had 0. Euro USD had 1. Which one? Great Britain Pound USD, 0, or 1 that lost. And the USD JPY, 1 that won. So this was an overall profitable day. Now let's go back and check one more. And I think this is about as far as back as I can go. November 6th. It's my birthday. November 6th. So let's jump back over to the system here, and let's see if we can grab November 6th information. We're going to grab here. We're going to go back to November. We're going to hit 6. And of course, 0700. We're going to do the same thing here because we don't want to grab all the other information. November 7th. We're going to go from 0800 to 0900. Also make sure that you got your maximum allowed. And I also have validation off. Okay. And this is for the long and short side. USD JPY traded none. 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 You know what? I may not be able to grab that information. I think it's too far back for me to grab that time period. Because that's just a little bit more than 90 days. We're dealing with a little bit of a gap in between now because we only get 90 days worth of information. Okay, so we didn't have any information for November 6th. But I can tell you, being back in December, when I was trading the previous month, me personally trading, that the NFP treated me halfway decent. So it was like a split day. So let's just pretend that you're going to have to trust me on that, okay? Well, not pretend. I hope you trust me. The process of one being halfway okay, another one being profitable, and another one being not so profitable, the one on January 8th. This all really depends on your own script, okay, of what you want it to do. If you're in for the long haul, if we look at the year's worth of data over the NFP, we can easily see that there might be a time when that would actually be ahead. But in a time when you're just starting out to trade, there's no real reason to add more risk to your portfolio. So you can easily pull back a little bit and err on the side of caution, okay? We can also do this working with, if we go back over on, let's see, let's go to the 6th. Here, and we go to the 6th, and we hit apply. Okay, and there's the Wednesday before the NFP, and here are the couple of the big ones right here. Okay, that is the 6th, right? Crude oil refineries. This is the inventories. This is the big one right here. We have a couple of other stuff that's happened, ADP, non-farm more, but we don't really worry about that too much. It's not a really great day. On that, so we're going to start at like 0700 and go to about noon in that time period, probably even to the end of the day to see, geez, there's a lot of stuff that happens this particular day. So let's go see how well the system works out on that particular day. So we have, let's come in here. We're going to come over to January. We're going to hit 6. We're going to say 0700, and we're just going to take it to the 6th as well on January. But we're going to say 1700 as the end time to grab the data. Okay. So during that time period from 0800 to 0900, let's do 1600, we'll call it the end of the day. Let's find out how well a big heavy news day did for us. And we're going to play it at low risk here, okay? Auto USD. Auto USD we did 2-0. Euro JPY 3-0. Euro USD 50-50. Great Britain Pound USD 2-0. USD JPY 0-1. So not too bad still. We're going to go all the way down the list here because these pairs will be trading as well. Euro Great Britain Pound, no trades. Great Britain Pound JPY, 0 trades. USD CAD, 1 trade that lost. USD CHF, 1 trade that won. USD MEXI, 2-0. But again, does this operate? This is a good profitable day. But now, the trades that I'm trading right now, or showing you right now, this is all with a low risk value. If I were to do the same thing again, going back and testing to see, where we at with medium risk, you may get some more trades. You may have some more value. There's a 100%er. There's another 100%er. There's 3 with 100%. There's 50-50 again. 33% at medium. 33% at medium. 66% at medium. 1 or 2. So break even just a little bit. You got some profit. So again, testing out at these levels is very important for you to know how to use the tool, right? And this is not going to be a guide for you to run and go say, okay, it traded for the last 3 times that way. If we did the same thing again, I would have to know that Wednesday prior to. If we know that, let's see, December 4th, that Wednesday was December 2nd. So I'm going to do the same thing. December 2nd there. I'm going to go back in December 2nd at 1700. And we're going to go look at the numbers again. Nothing fired there. Euro JPY, 2-0. Euro USD, nothing. 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 Nothing fired. There's 1-0. So that's 2-0 for the day. USD CAD. 3-0 for the day. USD CHF. And USD MEXI. 50-50. Okay? And again, that's at a medium level. Set at medium. I mean, if we went back high risk and we wanted to check that, we can kind of see what high risk is. That one's a little bit more 100%er, 0%er. No trades won. You kind of get the gist here that the information is based upon that real tight isolated variable, right? When that particular day of news happens. So far, we know that the Wednesday prior to the NFP seems like to be a pretty decent time in the last two sections, last 2 months. Okay, so January and December, even at the end of the year with all the elections and everything else, seem to be a pretty good value. So my suggestion would be for this month is to stay here in January or for February 4th, I think it is, what's coming up. February 5th is to, on February 3rd, which is Wednesday, trade lightly. Okay, but you could possibly still trade live. All right, but when it comes to Friday, turn the bot off the night before, or even early in the morning. Get up early or do what have you, or turn the system off, Xedan system off, or turn it on to demo. Like before you go to bed, turn it on to demo and just become part of the data collection of it, right? To see how well it did, okay? Because we're tracking everything now. So we have the numbers now for every single time an NFP happens. We know what the data is, okay? We know how it's going to trade because we're taking our signals and we're etching them in stone for the next 3 months to be at these levels. We're not changing the levels. We're not changing the values or the deltas. We're just keeping them the exact where they're at. And we're going to test this value over the next 3 months. And as we come out, we'll probably have more definitive answers of saying, hey, look, turn it off at this time, keep it here on this time, turn it off on this time, that kind of stuff. We definitely know right now that Sundays between the gap, right? You all know what the gap is, right? It's when the market ends up getting a big, huge gap from Friday afternoon down to here, right? And it kind of plays against it, tries to come back up to close that gap, and then does what it's going to do to respond, and then it's going to go do it again, right? And if we look at every single pair at the gap, you're going to see that it does the same exact thing on every single pair at the gap, right? Pretty wild. In this particular pair, where's the gap? Let's see. Right? I did that right. Sunday 31. Where are you at, gap? This one doesn't seem to have that big of a gap. Okay? And it's right here. Wow. Okay, there it is. This railroad train that happens right here, right? So the gap was from here to here. You just can't see it because it's been disguised as a railroad track, right? Because what happens is that the market value right here, right, between those two bars right there, right, there's the gap right there. This is what the market ended, and here's where it began, right? So the gap is tiny, but it kind of blended in there, so you weren't able to see it, and I can't really see it that well until I really focus in, right? So, again, not really having that much detail and that much information to go off of, you tend just to kind of go with what's in front of your face. So trading the gap on Sundays, not very well. We could go back and test all the previous Sundays over the last, and we got a lot of data for that, and we could look at the wins, right? You could isolate those variables again by simply doing a custom and going and isolating just from Sunday night to Monday. And you could see, how well did that work, right? We know how well it worked last night. Let's go from here, 24th of January to the 25th of January. And we're going to say that's the 24th. You wouldn't get any results from there, but you would open it up right around 1700 from there for the data, and then go to 1700. So the whole day. Actually, you could just go to like 0800. from that point. So this would be where the gap would really sort of fix itself. We're going to go with medium risk to kind of stay in the middle. Let's see here. Well, we want to trade from 1700 down to 0800, right? Something like that, and hit OK. And we're going to zip back over here. And we can easily see, remember, this is back in January, 4-0, January 24th. This is just a couple weeks ago, 42%. Euro USD seems to do okay at 60%, kind of broke even, just a little bit above break even, made some money, right? Made some money, okay. Great Britain Pound USD, made some money as well. USD JPY. Remember, we're only trading the 5 major pairs because it's trading through the night. USD JPY, as we know from last couple of weeks ago, sucked, right? And that'll lead me into the last little bit of discussion today, knowing your drawdown on your pairs. Every single one of the pairs that fires off has a success rate, right? And as if we make an upward tick every single time the trade does well for us, if we were to make, in fact, we have it right in front of our face here. If we were, for every green bar is a win for us and every red bar is a loss, this would be a win, this would be a loss, and we moved up, depending on how many wins we have, we would have what we look is like a candlestick market, right? The market would kind of be looking like this. Every time we lost, we came down. Every time we went up. If we looked at our profit margins, this is what our graph would look like, right? And on Sundays, what does it look like, right? If every single time the week goes by and then Sunday, what does it look like? And if it starts operating under that trend, you're going to end up coming out on the wrong side of that. So again, when do we turn it off? Probably better to turn it on Monday morning, 0800 hours. Simple. Are we going to put a time system on board to only trade between these hours and turn it on here and there? That's possible, but not for a little while. So you're going to have to actually physically do some work in there and cut in and say, listen, I don't want you trading here and I want you trading here. And you got to physically turn it on and off. Okay, your discretion. All right. I hope this finds you well. I hope you got a good understanding of what we're doing with testing. Keep in mind, too, our pairs that we're using in signals fire off at multiple different levels. They have high risk, low risk, medium risk, get validation on, validation off values in there. They're all using the 45-55 model. So please keep that in mind when we're trading for this week, that we're utilizing some caution, okay? If you're unsure, if you don't want to trade on Wednesday, then don't. Or trade demo. Don't trade live, trade demo. Isolate your pairs too. One of the things that inside the Den area and Xedan testers, Jerry has put his results down, right? Very transparent results. This is some losses and everything that we've had from this week. Actually, this one hasn't lost yet. He just puts it in early. And it'll probably skew those results up there a little bit. But you can kind of see, hey, what's won, what's lost for the week. You can start isolating, hey, what is really good for me, right? So far, for me, the Euro USD, which I keep on my live account all the time, has always seemed to come out ahead for me, right? Am I in due for a loss on the Euro USD? Maybe, right? Maybe. But for right now, it hasn't lost for me yet, okay? Well, it loses, but overall for the week, it hasn't lost for me yet. So I'm happy with keeping that. I was also under that impression with the Aussie USD last week, and then it started losing a couple, and I took it off my portfolio. And you're able to do that, right? When you have that opportunity, you can come in, this is the demo account, you can come into the settings and just start turning stuff off if you don't want it to play, right? And once it starts coming back a little bit, it starts showing more stability, then you can turn it back on. But for the most part, you can turn that stuff off, all right? So keep that in mind. As you're trading, you're in charge of when you have your Xedan on and off. Okay, overall, it's your discretion. All right, using the signals that are there, that's one thing. And also, if you really want some more power, then learn how to use the Dex Atomex and isolated system. There's only a handful of us in the data department, okay? And it's probably best if you start to learn how to do some of that. If you're here just to trade or not to trade, but you just want to make some profit and everything else, then stay the course. We're going to teach you how to turn it off and on and tell you when. I'm not going to tell you when to turn it on and off. I'm going to give you suggestions, but you should be able to use that power of observation just a little bit, okay, to know when you're going to turn it on and off. If you have a $500 balance, you better not have it on with 5 or 6 pairs and all that stuff. That's irresponsible, right? So you got to be responsible in your portfolio. I can give you the tools, but if I give you a hammer and you bash your thumb in, that's not my fault, okay? All right. I want you all to have a great day. We'll talk to you more throughout the week, but this has been February 1st little week analysis for what's coming up. My suggestion overall is to keep either in a very low risk value for, like, if you're trading 2 or 3 contracts at a time, trade 1 contract at a time on Wednesday just to kind of see where that value is, or trade completely demo and then turn the bot. I keep calling it a bot. It's not a bot. It's a system. It's not a bot. The Xedan does not physically make determinational trades, so it's not a bot. The system does. So Friday, don't trade unless you're trading demo. That's even though it might be a super huge winner, but that's the risk that you take. If you decide you want to do that, more power to you. Just trade low. All right. I'm Max. This is Dex. We'll see you next time. And as always, trade well.